Well, hey there, and welcome to my channel. My name is Crafty Kathy. I'm the owner and creator of Kit's Vintage Farmhouse in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I'm so happy and thankful that you stopped in to craft and spend a little time with me today. I've been fighting COVID all week, and today's the first day that I've actually had enough of a voice to where I could edit a video, and I'm so excited. So, I hope that my voice will let me get through this video. Now, this is the first time that I have ever tried the dark academia and goth type look, so let me know what you think. Let's get into it. We're going to start off with these gorgeous little porcelain dolls. I got these at Goodwill for just $2.99 a piece, and we are going to use their heads. I've seen this done before and I think it's really cool. I wanted to put my own spin on it. Now, these dolls have their heads actually come off very easily. You would be surprised. Their hair is attached by a little band of glue up here. You just pull, give it a good tug, and usually it'll come right off. If not, use a hair dryer to kind of loosen that glue up. All we're going to do is pull her little hair off, and you see underneath she has like a lot of that yellowy glue. We need to get that off, and we need to get that little black cap off the top. I'll go ahead and show you with this first girl how easy it is to get their head off. I'm going to spin her around and start taking her little top of her dress off here. And you'll see as I unbutton this, the only thing that's holding her on is literally thread. She has almost like a head plate or an upper body plate, I guess you could call it. All I did was just cut the thread and her head is loosed. Check that out. So I decided to keep the rest of her body because you never know when you may need to use some arms, or who knows, with Halloween, there's a lot of cool things you can do. Now this top part, I was really surprised at how easy it just popped right off. And you can almost see around the top there where it's yellowy. I just used Goo Gone to get mine off. If I would have been thinking, I would have put some alcohol or maybe some Goo Gone in a bucket and kind of dipped her upside down and just let her sit in that for a while, because I had a little bit of trouble getting this off. I had to kind of scrub and scrub, and then I used like my little box cutter there to kind of get the pieces of glue off that was on her. I'll go ahead and show you with the second little girl. I think she's actually a lot prettier than the other. I wanted my porcelain dolls to have that sweet little innocent look and that very serious look. That's what I was going for. And you see this girl, she's a little bit different than the other. I just had to cut 2 little pieces of thread and her head popped right off. That was so easy. And then I just set the pieces aside. Now, when I tried to get her hair off, it was a little bit tougher to come off than the other one. So I used some scissors to kind of cut and realized that I just needed to pull a little bit harder. And that's exactly what I did. Now, when I did get her hair off, I realized that this one had a piece of foam in the top instead of like the little black plate like the other one had. And she didn't have as much of that yellowy, dingy glue up there, so she was a little bit easier to clean than the other one. And I think she's really pretty. I took my girls outside and I spray painted them with my Rust-Oleum 2 times in the color flat white. You see the eyeballs are attached by a bunch of glue inside. So all I did was just use my heating tool and I just kind of heated up the glue around those eyeballs, and I just used like some scissors or something to kind of pop them out. To me, they look better without the eyeballs because it just gives more of like that vacant stare, and it's very spooky and Halloweenish. But they were really easy to come out of there. I went ahead and got the eyes out of both of them. And the next step that I did is not really necessary. You don't really even have to do this, especially if you're going to put real dirt and real plants in these, which I did. But you live and learn. And like I said, if you're not going to put real dirt in these, go ahead and do this step if you want. I just took some black eyeshadow from a really cheap palette, and I'm using my little makeup brushes just to darken in the eyes and give them that dark, spooky stare. I didn't feel like that type of makeup brush let me get inside the eyes as though I wanted to, so I took this really, really fine makeup brush. It's like a detail brush, and that way I could go all around the eye sockets exactly where I wanted to. I dirtied up around the top of their head. I don't know why, I just thought that that might look good. They just seem too white to me. You know what I mean? Too bright. I wanted to just dirty them up a little bit. And y'all do not laugh at me, but I got one of those heads from Dollar Tree, the ones where you can style their hair, and that's this one. And I cut her hair off. I just wanted to see if you could do it with the Dollar Tree one, if you didn't want to buy the porcelain. But guys, all I could do was laugh. She's hilarious. And what's funny is she actually looks the way that I feel during COVID. I took some of these little spiders. I got these out of a pack from Dollar General. There was about 1,000,000 of them in there, it looks like, for just $1. And they're the little rings. I'm just going to paint my spider and then cut the rings off because I definitely have to have a spider. I want to stop and welcome you to my channel. I am so happy and thankful that you stopped in to check out my dark academia and goth style. Like I said, this is the very first time that I've tried anything like this, and I'm having a blast doing it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, hit that little red subscribe button and become a part of our family. We would love to have you. Click that little bell beside it, and YouTube will let you know every time that I put out a video. Also, if you're enjoying my content, please give me a big thumbs up because that really helps to push my videos out there to people who've never seen me before. And I appreciate you so much for doing that for me. So I finally figured out that I wanted the spider right on the tippity tip 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 part of her head. And as you see, I placed a plant in here. This is one of my succulents, and it's kind of giving Cyndi Lauper, but that's okay because I like the way that she looks with her hair or her little vine growing all crazy there. I took some of these Totally Dazzled. Now, Totally Dazzled is beautiful as the way that they come with, jeweled and beautiful. But since we're doing Halloween, dark academia, goth, I wanted to color these up. So I just took my black paint and I'm just going all over these so we can give it a dark and kind of mysterious look. So I took a piece of lace that I have, and what I'm doing is just kind of folding it over on itself. I'm going to put a little bit of glue so that I can make it slimmer. I'm kind of making like a little choker for this girl. Y'all, I was so sick this day when I was putting her together. I wasn't thinking, I was just doing, But that's the beauty when you are a creative person. Like, it just helps you keep your mind off of things, So I just wrapped her little piece of lace around her neck, and I took one of those Totally Dazzled jewels and I decided to stick that right in the front. And it does kind of look like a little brooch. It just kind of fit her. I don't know. I think she's cute with it. If you look and see that other little brooch that's laying there that looks like a little black feather, I decided to put that on my other little girl. I did that off camera, I guess. And then I took these two little wooden plaques. They are from the Dollar Tree. And I just painted them black because I thought that these girls needed something to sit on, that it would just make it look better. So I just kind of sanded around the edges just so it would look a little distressed and aged. And we're just going to set our little girls right down on the top of them. I'm not even going to glue them down. They're just going to be little plaques, and just to give them a little something extra. But after I had done all this, I still didn't feel like I was totally finished. So I grabbed some of my moss, and I do get my moss from Hobby Lobby, only because the moss from the Dollar Tree stinks to high heaven. I don't know why, but every time I get it, it smells like a dog has peed on it. And I promise you, it's not me. I promise you, every time it smells that way. So for me, I would rather pay the extra money and get some moss that I know ain't going to stink. You know what I'm saying? So I took some of this moss and I'm just kind of placing it wherever I think that it would look good growing on these poor little girls. I put a little bit on their head, on their neck. I just kind of put it everywhere. I even got the bright idea to take some of the moss and just kind of stick it in the eyes of the one little girl, almost to look like like the plant or the moss is just growing out of her eyes. And I have to tell you, I do like that look. I thought it was kind of spooky. I didn't want it coming out of there a lot because I still wanted you to be able to see her eyes really well. So I just put it in there with my little pinky finger, just enough to where it would just kind of, you would get the idea. You know what I mean? Now, this little girl, I did put dirt inside her. I was going to put a real plant in there, but then last minute I decided not to. But I did give her a little something special. I took one of my battery operated candles and I put that down in there. So now she's a headlight. Get it? I know, I'm not funny. But anyways, I have to laugh. I feel so bad lately. If I don't laugh, I don't know what I'll do. But anyways, I took some of my Distress Oxide here, and it's just a spray. And in my mind, I thought that it was going to just kind of darken on these candles that you can see the drips. So I thought that it would darken it, which it really didn't that much. So I just took my fingers and kind of rubbed that spray stain in that candle just to give it a dark, spooky look. I hope you like my girls. I think they're so cute. Now we're on the next DIY, and this one is my favorite of the whole video. I took these old round frames that I had, and you see I previously made a DIY out of them. Well, it's time to reuse them and do a little something different. So what I'm going to do is just brush all the dirt off of these. These were actually outside on my front porch and they were filthy, y'all. So what I'm going to do is just pull all the stuff off the front because the way these frames are, I can't get in them. I cannot open these up for any reason. So What I'm going to do is just pull all that off. I had used glue to place it down. And then I just took like a little sanding sponge and sanded that down so we would have an even start for our beautiful pictures that we're about to create. As you see, I took my frames outside and I spray painted them black. I tried to leave that inner portion white because we're going to be doing some decoupage, and it's always best, in my opinion, to do your decoupage on a white or a light background because it will help your picture pop more. So I want to show you these beautiful, beautiful decoupage papers that my friend Brandy sent me from the DIY struggle. Now, I'm going to leave her link down below. If you guys want to go and get some of these decoupage papers, she made these herself. I'm so proud of her for doing this, and I think she's amazing. This is the one from fall, and the one that we're going to be using is a spooky Halloween version, and we're going to do like a dark academia picture on these, and these are perfect decoupage papers to do it with. Look at this spooky scene. This lady is so gorgeous. There's a witch. There's a lady up in the top, and she's like a skeleton. She's given the way that I feel right now through this COVID. And there's even a spook staring at you through the window. Like, these are the coolest decoupage papers, and I think they're gorgeous. You know, I've got to use mine that's got the beautiful lady there on the bottom. So I never cut my papers out when I'm decoupaging. You guys know me if you've hung around my channel for any amount of time. My usual mode is to just put a little squirt of water on the table there. And for some reason I had something brown on my brush, but that's okay. We're going to work through it. And all I do is I just go around, basically kind of go around the picture that I'm wanting to pull out. I'm just wetting that decoupage paper so it will be very easy to tear. I go ahead and wet that area there that's white because, of course, I don't want that on there. And I just tore that part away. Then we're going to lay down this beautiful lady in this frame so we can see exactly where we want to put our picture. Now you can see that the frame is just slightly larger than the picture, but that's okay. We'll make that work. I used my fingernail to go around and to push into that decoupage paper so it would make an indentation and show me where I needed to put a little bit more of my water, and that way it would tear easily and just slide right into that picture. What I plan on doing on the sides there that, doesn't have any picture where you can see where I ripped on the right side there, I'm just tearing off a small piece of the decoupage paper because it matches it perfectly. And I'm just going to place that there as though it was there all along. And you're really not going to be able to tell because with this dark academia, there's a lot of things that kind of look that way anyways. And I mean, you're never going to know. You would never believe that I'm just going to use this glue stick to put this girl down. It works really well with decoupage paper. Decoupage paper is so easy as far as you don't have many wrinkles, if any at all. And I love working with decoupage paper. I would rather do decoupage paper over a napkin any day. And so all I'm doing is just going around with my little glue stick and I'm placing it down very carefully here. I don't want to rip my decoupage paper. And it's going to hold her down for as long as I want it to. And then I'm just going to fill in those two areas there on the side where you can see that straight tear. I don't like that. I want to cover that up. I am so in love with this decoupage paper. I'm probably going to get more from her just so I can have this photo of this beautiful lady. And she fits right into the dark academia kind of goth look, if you ask me. I took my little razor. It's one of those tiny razors that you get from the Dollar Tree. They come like 5 in a pack, and they're amazing to have. And I'm just going around the very edges. In some places, I'm just pushing it up under the edge. And in other places, I'm just making a straight cut and pulling that excess off there. Now we're going to take a little bit of Dark and Decrepit, which I think is very fitting. It's made by DIY Paint. It's a dark patina. So we're going to use this kind of like a stain. I'm just going to take a little bit of it. I'm going to put it on the end of my makeup brush, and I'm going to use it to kind of shade and make this picture just a little bit more darker and dingier looking than what it is. I just kind of went all the way around the picture, anywhere that I wanted to darken up, and just added a little bit of that Dark and Decrepit. Now that we've got all that done, we're going to have a little fun. I pulled out my Rub and Buff, and I have 4 different colors of Rub and Buff, but what I've noticed with the Dark Academia, it's dark, of course, and it always has a touch of gold. So we're going to use this antique gold. That's the color of Rub and Buff I'm using. I just put a very small amount on my finger, and I'm going around all the details of this beautiful, beautiful frame. And it brings out the details. I am so in love with this picture and this lady. She is so gorgeous. Even the witch flying up in the top there. She makes Dark Academia look like, like all that. I mean, I don't know where these flowers came from, y'all. These are old, dried flowers. I don't know why I would have ever bought them in my normal state of mind. But it's good because they're perfect for Dark Academia. They're perfect for Halloween. So I even have this flower. It's a rose that came off of my bush here at the house. My husband had picked them for me and stuck them out here in my craft room. And it died. And dead flowers, like dried flowers, that's a thing with Dark Academia. So I wanted to stick that up on the side, and I think it looks really good. I told you guys I was having all kinds of fun doing this. Then I found this old key. It was actually on that original picture before we started DIYing it. I'm going to put a little bit of the Rub and Buff, the gold, antique gold Rub and Buff on it. And I'm just going to stick it on the picture. So now we're moving along to our next frame. I know that I want this girl that's looking out the window. And it says something to the effect of, don't be afraid of the ghost stories, be afraid of the thing that's under your bed. And this spook is like staring at you through the window. Brandy, is that you? By the way, did you take your picture, girl, so you could have it on your decoupage paper peeking out the window? I'm just kidding. You can't really make out the girl's face, but she has dark hair, and Brandy does too. And I love to mess around with Brandy, and she knows I love her. It's all good. So I wet my brush a little bit. Like I said, I know I want this girl. And she's got like a mirror beside her with a flower in it. It's just perfect for Dark Academia, every bit of this. So I'm just going to kind of go around my edges here, the part of the picture that I want to tear out, just like I did before. Here I'm doing the exact same thing that I did before. I'm just using my fingernail to kind of show myself where to cut at. And I'm using that little razor blade to cut off the excess. And once again, you see we have a little bit of on the sides there where it didn't cover. Well, I cut out this spooky girl that's just kind of standing out by herself. She reminds me of, I don't know if any of y'all ever saw that scary movie. It was like an exorcist type movie of Emily Rose. That's who that looks like standing there. Those movies scare me to death, honey, because they are real. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It really happens. People can get possessed, and it's scary. That scares me. I know that, well, I ain't going to have no church service. Let's just go on back to the thing, okay? Let's go. So here I am putting my glue stick down. I was about to preach to y'all and talk about how, you won't have demons as long as you have the Lord. We all know that, right? Okay. So I don't want to go into all that. Let's just talk about pictures because I don't have a voice. So yeah, y'all can tell I still don't feel 100% because I have to joke to make myself laugh. Anyway, so I'm just putting down my glue stick. I'm putting down my little picture here. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing as before. I'm going to take that little piece of that picture that I have of Emily Rose, and I'm going to put her right on the side of the picture. That way she covers up where that tear is. You guys just have to overlook me. When I'm sick, I am even more goofy than normal. I mean, I'm sick, right? But a lot of times, I don't know. I guess my head just doesn't think clearly or whatnot, and I'm just like goofier than normal. Nasal stuff and all that's kind of going away. I'm getting my voice back and all that. My problem is when I get COVID, this is the second time, it strikes my sciatic nerve. I've had 3 surgeries on my back. I have a spinal cord stimulator implanted. And for whatever reason, it loves to attack my nerve. I can feel it swell. I can literally feel it swell up. And I have to be really careful because last time I thought that I really messed myself up. I don't know if any of you guys were around back then, but I was in the bed for weeks. I couldn't move. I was so scared. I thought it was it. To be honest with you, you can see their little rips there where I put Emily Rose on this picture, but it's okay because it goes along with that whole dark academia. That the gothy look. It really does look good there. So I'm going to finish that up by, like I said, putting her on one side. On the other side, I'm just putting a little bit of the extra paper and I am just placing it where it actually looks like it came that way. And I love the way that these pictures are turning out. I absolutely love these decoupage papers, Brandy. Thank you for sending them. And guys, go to the DIY Struggle and check her out. You got to get some of her papers. She just started selling these not too long ago. And if I'm not mistaken, the night after she started selling them, they were gone. They were sold out and she was waiting on more. But don't take my word for it. Go check her out. You definitely want some of these. They're very affordable. And as you see, they're beautiful. And plus, I love to support my sisters that are doing the same thing as me. I mean, creative minds think alike. We all have that in common. When we start talking, we don't even have to mention certain things because we all have it. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but yeah. And all I'm doing here on my picture is going through and shading with that dark and decrepit. And the very last thing that I'm going to do to finish this one up is to take that antique gold rub and buff and I'm just going around the frame to accentuate those beautiful little divots that are all in it. My voice is actually doing a little bit better as the video goes on. I grabbed some cough drops. If you hear me slurping and chomping, that's what I'm doing because I'm trying to keep that, my throat open so I can talk because I love to talk. And when I can't talk, I'm usually very depressed. So here I'm just going to take some more of those dried leaves. And this is crazy, y'all. I took the little tie that was holding those leaves together, those little twigs, and I made it in the shape of a ribbon because it looked dark academia to me. It just fit. I you know, so I laid it down. I laid that key down, and this is the little ribbon that I told you. It's like a bread tie. So I'm going to place it on there. Then the very, very last thing that I'm doing to this picture is taking a tiny little piece of a mold that I made a couple of weeks ago. It looks like a little leaf. I'm going to put that antique gold on it and just kind of almost dirty it up with the antique gold. To me, it seemed that it went with the picture. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But I sure do hope that you like these 2 portraits. I think they are gorgeous. and I'm ready to do more dark academia. The next one is going to be short and sweet, and you can't do dark academia in goth without doing some type of like a little apothecary or something of that nature, some potions. So all I did was print it off from I just went to Google and put like free potion labels, and then I printed those off. You can see my printer, I am forever out of colored ink in my printer, so this is what I got, but that's okay. And then I've just got a few scraggly old bottles. One of these little bottles, that tiny one, came from the Crackle Barrel. That's what the syrup comes in. Some of the bottles comes from like drinks that my daughter, just stuff that I've bought here and there. And then the 4 bottles that you see with the little chicken wire, I got those from Hobby Lobby for just a couple of bucks. They've been sitting in my room forever, and this is the perfect thing to do with them. So all I'm going to do is go through all of my little labels here. I'm going to do the exact same thing as before. Put a little squirt of water, and I'm going to go around them because we don't want them to have perfectly nice shapes. We're going to tear these out. Now, I didn't go really crazy with these. I just took some of the smaller round ones and some of the larger ones. I'm just going to kind of mix and match and just do a few, nothing big. If you go to Google, you can just simply put in free potion labels and hit the word images at the top. You will actually see the images of them, and you can save them in your pictures and then just print that. That's how I do all of my things like that I use from Google. I hope that helps you a little. Now, it's no surprise that we're going to put these on with a glue stick. It works. It's pretty much all we need. And I don't want these labels to stay on here forever. I don't want to fool with any kind of goopy Mod Podge or even liquid patina. So all I did was just put a little bit of the glue stick on the back and pop them on the bottle. Once I put them all on there, I'm going to take my little makeup brush and I'm just going to dip it down into my liquid, I almost said liquid patina, my dark and decrepit, which is a brown colored patina that we're using as a stain. And I'm sorry I'm out of frame right here. I didn't realize that. But I'm just putting a little bit of that dark and decrepit on my brush and just kind of running it all around those labels, just to make them look old, dirty, and dingy. The next thing that I'm going to do is just take random things and stick it in my bottle. I'm going to take some of these dried leaves because it kind of gives me a vibe like a witch would have all these different herbs and, flowers in her potions, So I cut off some of the stems. I put the stems in there. I put the doll's little eyeballs in one of the containers. I put some like little pieces of fern. I just put a couple little different things that I thought would be in a witch's apothecary. And of course, I'm going to add one of those little black totally dazzled jewels right to the front because she's a fashionable witch, right? And I'm not going to go crazy with putting a lot of color or anything in these. I grabbed one of my cheap paints, acrylic paints. It's called King's Gold. It's a yellowy color. I literally put like 2 drops in one bottle. And then I grabbed a cheap black acrylic paint, and it's by Apple Barrel. I'm going to put 1 or 2 drops in another one. and put a little bit of water in it and shake it around. And voila, that's as far as a potion I'm going. Now, this really looks nasty. Whenever I mixed up that yellow, oh my gosh, I got so sick because it just looks gross. It doesn't look like pee. It looks like something else to me. And, I'm a nurse. There's not a lot of bodily fluids that make me sick, but there are a few. And I just don't like the way that potion looks. But yeah, just put you a couple drops of water and, you can put food color in there. You can put dye, you can do like I did. Put a little bit of paint. Same thing. And I love this one with the little sticks because it looks believable, right? I mean, come on. That's cute. And so that is my little apothecary jars. The next one is another one that's really quick and easy. This is from Easter, and it's just one of my little risers. You know that for each season, if you've been around my channel for a while, you know that I usually do a riser for each season just to kind of set my stuff on. Now, I did put this decoupage paper with the bunny on with the glue stick. And this just goes to show, look how well the glue stick works. So what I need to do to get the bunny off here is I just wet it a little bit, and then it just peeled off of there very easily. Sometimes it peels off without having to wet it, but I did have to wet this one. But look, in case you wonder, so many people ask me, yeah, Kathy, but does the glue stick work that well? Like, does it stay for a while? There's your answer. It absolutely does. So I'm just going to place one of my decoupage pictures over the top of this riser and use it to stage my photos for you guys. And I do want to show you these that came out from Decoupage Queen. Lori over at Milton's Daughter sent me these, and I absolutely love these. I'm going to show them off more in just a moment. That way, in case you do want some of these, you can go to Milton's Daughter and get you some. Now, your first order, if you use the code CraftyCathy10, you're going to get 10% off your first order. And she also has different types of incentives and stuff for returning customers. So you guys should go and visit Miss Lori because you're going to love her. All right, so what I'm doing here is using my DIY paint color called Faded Burlap. It's kind of a khaki color, and I don't even have to have like a total great coverage. I'm basically just slapping it on. Now, the way that I made this riser, in case you want to make one like this, it's just a piece of scrap wood, and I took 4 of those little wooden snowmen that came out at the Dollar Tree at Christmas and used them for the legs. I love to have little risers all over in my living room just to put, little knickknacks on. I just want you to check out this paper for a minute, how beautiful it is. And I decided what I'm going to do is use this top one. It's kind of got that khaki faded burlap color to it. And it says Salem Apothecary. It goes with exactly what I've been doing this whole video. So I'm just going to do like I did before, wet my little paintbrush and go around and then tear this off. I was having so much fun doing this type of art, this dark academia, I decided to take a lighter and just kind of burn all the way around on my decoupage paper to make it look like an old, burnt page. But please, if you do this, make sure that you have some way to put out a fire because, in case your piece of paper goes up in flames, you don't want to, take yourself down over trying to decoupage a paper on a riser. You know what I'm saying? So I just laid it down and look how beautiful it is with that background color. And I'm doing the same thing here that I did with that beautiful little bunny. I'm just going to put some of that glue stick all over the back of it, and I'm just going to slap it on there. That's basically as easy as it gets. I love to decoupage. You can make anything beautiful with decoupaging, and decoupage paper is my favorite way to go, and the glue stick. I always try to kind of start off in the middle and work my way out. That way you don't get any wrinkles and everything just goes on easily and beautifully. Now we're going to darken this up a little bit. And this was a totally different day. I was still sick. I don't know why I didn't use the dark and decrepit because it's the perfect thing to use to shade these. Instead, I grabbed my Dixie Belle Voodoo Gel Stain, and it's fine too. It's basically kind of the same thing. It's just a brown stain. It's kind of like the Waverly stain. It's about the same hue and everything. So all I'm doing is just going all around my little riser and kind of dirtying it up, giving it a little shade here and there, making it look nice and spiffy so I can put my stuff on it, take pictures. Now, on this particular day, I just wasn't feeling like I wanted to paint the bottom part of this riser, so I didn't do it. I only painted the parts that you're going to see. So please excuse me for not totally finishing this. You see, it's still green, and I had to put a leg back on. I always use the Fix-All from the Dollar Tree and just a little bit of my hot glue. But guys, I hope you like this. I think it's cute and it's sweet, and it was just a quick little DIY. Lord, this one is so funny, y'all. I got one of these flockers, and I have been looking for those rats that they used to have at the Dollar Tree. I can't find them anywhere. All I found was this silly little rat that you pull back, and he's got wheels for feet, and he's like, he goes rolling around and stuff, and he's got a purple nose. Like, who's this gonna fool? But anyways, I am dying to make fur on like a little rat. That's what I've been wanting to do this whole, on all my Halloween DIYs. I just keep looking for those rats and I can't find them. Anyways, long story short, I bought this little mini flocker off of Amazon. And Lori over at Milton's Daughter sent me this velvet powder. The velvet powder is that same stuff as the flocking powder. You put it on something and it literally makes it look like it has fur. There's no other way that I can describe it. But I asked her to send me some. She sent me some gray and some black. So when I find the appropriate rat, we are going to have so much fun, y'all. But for now, I just wanted to see what this would do. I got a few little people in mind that I want to mess with. The way that you do your flocking is you put your little rat on wheels in a box, because this stuff is messy and it's going to go everywhere. And then we have to put something on him that's going to make the flock stick. So I just used a little bit of Mod Podge. And I thought we're going to do just like the head at one time, just little things just to kind of, get an idea of how this is going to look. So that's all I did. set him back in the box, and you pour that flocking powder in that little gun, that yellow gun, flocking gun, and you just kind of push it, and the flocking powder goes like, and it goes out on whatever you're wanting to put it on. To be 100% honest, I don't think that I did the little flocking thing right the first time, so I just kind of sprinkled it like I was sprinkling salt or pepper. I just put a little bit in my hand over the box and just kind of sprinkled it on him. And he really looks like he has fur. It's weird. I mean, never mind the fact that he's got these silly little wheels for feet. I mean, oh my goodness, that just kills me. Like, I want to find some of those rats from the Dollar Tree so bad, the ones they had a few years ago. And I can't find them anywhere, y'all. I've been looking and looking. I don't think they make them anymore. But anyways, this was just a quick little fun thing that I did. It's not even to be taken seriously. But I put my little flocking powder all over my rat, and I want you to see what he looks like when we're done. I mean, come on, how funny is this? I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's cute. And he reminds me of the little guy off of Bugs Bunny that would, arriba, arriba, andre, andre, arriba. You know, that little guy, Speedy. But anyways, with his little wheels, I'm going to find some of those Dollar Tree rats. I promise y'all. I'm going to find them, and we're going to flock them, and they're going to be beautiful. Hey, if you stuck with me through this whole video and you stayed here even though my voice sounds terrible, I just want to thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for your loyal support. I love you guys, and I hope that you like this video. I hope that you like that, I tried a different style. Just let me know what you think. Your opinion means everything to me. Just be nice, which everybody usually is. So anyways, I'm going to try to get better and get over this old mess. And I do want to let you guys know, if you haven't subscribed, you make sure you hit that little red subscribe button and become a part of our family. There's a bell beside it, and when you click that bell, YouTube lets you know every time that I put out a video. Speaking of, my videos normally are Monday and Thursday at 7:30. But since we're going into Halloween, we're going to change it up to 7 o'clock. So from now on, Monday and Thursday at 7 o'clock is when my videos will be out. And I hope to see you in the next. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. If you enjoyed this video, I have another one that has very similar content that I think you will also enjoy. All you have to do is just click on that little button, and it will take you right to the video. I'll see you guys soon. God bless you and your families.